Hi, sorry, it's been a few days since we did one of these. I got a bit bogged down with an essay for college that sort of kept me busy. So anyway, let's get back to it. And if you turn to chapter 9 of Romans, we're going to start at verse 22 where we left off last time. I'm just going to read it. It says, "What if God, choosing to show his wrath and make his power known, bore with great patience the objects of his wrath, prepared for destruction? What if he did this to make the riches of his glory known to the objects of his mercy, whom he prepared in advance for glory? Even us, whom he also called, not only from the Jews, but also from the Gentiles. As he says in Hosea, I will call them my people who are not my people, and I'll call her my loved one who is not my loved one. And it will happen that in the very place where it was said to them, you are not my people, they will be called sons of the living God." Isaiah cries out concerning Israel, though the number of the Israelites be like the sand of the sea, only the remnant will be saved. For the Lord will carry out his sentence on earth with speed and finality. It is just as Isaiah said previously, unless the Lord Almighty had left us descendants, we would have become like Sodom, we would have become like Gomorrah. What shall we say then? That the Gentiles who did not pursue righteousness have obtained it, a righteousness that is by faith. But Israel, who pursued a law of righteousness, have not attained it. Why not? Because they pursued it not by faith, but as if it were by works. They stumbled over the stumbling stone. As it is written, "See, I lay in Zion a stone that causes men to stumble, and a rock that makes them fall. And the one who trusts in him will never be put to shame." Who have you got in your life at the moment that isn't a Christian, that doesn't go to church? Someone you care about, maybe someone that you love, maybe a work colleague, maybe a friend. And in your heart of hearts, when you are honest about it, you can't picture them ever becoming a Christian. It might be a family member that you've told about Jesus before, you've told them about your faith before, but they just don't show any interest. The wall comes up every time you bring it up, and they're pleased that you have your faith. It's like, I'm glad you've got your faith, but it's not really for me. I know I've got people like that. I know I've got people that, if I'm honest, I just don't see them becoming a Christian. And that's my weakness, and that's my lack of faith. And it's that passage that bit at the end of the passage where it talks about the stumbling stone. And what Paul's talking about here is the Israelites, the Jews at the time. And for them, their stumbling stone was Jesus. They were expecting their king to come. They were waiting for their Messiah. And they were expecting him to be this all-powerful king that would come and conquer their enemies and lead them. And what they got was Jesus. They got a humble shepherd's son that would go around the countryside helping people before being crucified. And for them, they just couldn't accept that was their Messiah, that was their king. That wasn't the conquering king that they expected. And for people today, those people that we're talking about, there are lots of things that continue to be a stumbling block for them, aren't there? Whatever that is, some people claim things like science and things like that as being the thing that they can't get over to then believe. They see the Bible as maybe a set of stories or fairy tales. Whatever it may be, there's things that cause people to stumble, to stop them from believing. And for us, that makes it hard. Sometimes we do struggle to have the faith that that they will come to know God, that they will become a Christian, they will put their faith in Jesus. But I just want to remind you of what it says earlier on in the chapter, where it says, I will call them my people who are not my people, and I will call her my loved one who is not my loved one. Again, for the Jewish people, the idea of anybody outside of that chosen family of God, outside of the Jewish faith, being called into God's family was pretty much absurd. They just couldn't imagine that happening. And they wouldn't believe that God would accept someone outside of that into his family. But that's what God did through Jesus. We know that. We know that Jesus died for the whole world. He didn't just die for the Jews. He died for the Gentiles, or for us, for everybody. And in the same way that the Jews found that difficult to believe, and again that was a stumbling block for them to believe that God would accept people from outside the faith. We too struggle, and what God is saying is that I will call them my people who are not my people. So those people that we are thinking about now, those people that we do struggle to believe will ever come to faith, what God is saying is I will call them my people who are maybe at the moment are not my people. So God isn't giving up on them, and neither should we. In fact, earlier in the passage it says that he bears with patience his wrath. So he's basically, what he's saying there is that he's holding back. He wants to give people that opportunity to turn to him, and that comes down to us too. That means that we need to do what we can to help people get over that stumbling block and to see Jesus for who he is. And as we approach Christmas, as we come up to that, what better time is there than now to be sharing the good news of Jesus. I've been thinking about Christmas and Advent. Christmas and Advent is looking at peace, at love and joy and hope of Christmas. And I think at the moment people need all of those things, and they can be found in Jesus. So let's share Jesus with people. Let's not give up hoping for those people that we know and we love, and we know that one day God could call them his people, who at the moment maybe not his people. Take care, see you later.